Hello, my name is Ashley Scher. I'm the founder and CEO of ShareLove.Fund. Today we're going to do a 10-minute mindfulness meditation for incarcerated women. Whatever you're doing, let's just take a moment to pause and set an intention to do it mindfully, whether we're mindfully moving about in our day or mindfully eating. Just one thing. Just pay attention to it. So being mindful means thinking about what you're doing as you're doing it. Ask yourself, what is the kindest thing that I can do for myself right now? What do I need to do right now that will be helpful? Focus on the things that are healthy and non-addictive, like walking, even if it has to be walking in place, resting or exercising, rather than turning to something that might feel good in the short term, but that may actually have harmful long-term effects. Focus on other people. Sometimes the best thing you can do is to consider what kindness you could show for someone else right now. It is amazing how focusing on others' happiness gets us out of our own ruts. Doesn't have to be big. Write a note of kindness saying you're doing great or you got this, and give it to someone. Give a random person a compliment. Even pick up something that somebody else dropped when it is acceptable. Of course, always follow the rules of your custodial facility. Even small rules, even rules that make no sense. If you have a problem with a rule, then talk to somebody calmly and express something. If you think that a rule needs to be changed, then there's an appropriate pathway. It may take time or it may not be possible to express it, but please don't ever break a rule. It's not okay to just disobey a rule. If you think a rule is wrong, then you need to bring up that idea that it's wrong in the appropriate way. If you just disobey something, then that's going to get you into more trouble. And the thing is just disobeying a rule isn't going to get the rule changed. So it's actually going to hurt the efforts to get the rule changed. If you really want a rule changed, then you need to stay on the good side of it and follow the appropriate channels. So pick up a piece of garbage or something that someone dropped, as long as that's not breaking a rule in your custodial facility. Focus on the most neutral thing in your body. This is usually your feet on the ground. Really put all of your energy and focus into feeling your feet. You can imagine your feet growing tree roots. Notice how many toes you have and wiggle them. And how many toes can you feel without wiggling them? Like really, it kind of uses your brain to like imagine, like can you feel each toe touching the ground? Are there certain toes you can't feel touching the ground unless you wiggle them? You know, that's like a little mind game you can play. There's so much work you can do just right here in your body, like so many twists and turns and things like that, so many stretches, just right here, right in your body. There's so much to explore. Like even as a little ball, there's so much to explore. You can reach, bend your neck, and so forth. You might walk slowly to really emphasize the sensations. Like taking little slow, like really just slow, deliberate steps, like heel to toe, really slowly, heel to toe, just to exaggerate and really feel the sensations. That can be a technique. Whatever you're doing, just take a moment to take a few breaths and notice how your body feels in this moment. Then explore the task at hand with all your senses. So we're talking about moving mindfully or eating mindfully, just being in the moment, not letting your mind wander, not being disengaged. We're practicing how to be engaged or present without having triggers and without reacting. So how can we not be numb, but not be over reactive? How can we be present but unaffected by the good or the bad? Just like there, but not present but in control of emotion. So that's what we're practicing here today. If you are moving about or eating, notice what let's say eating, notice what the food looks like, how the light hits it, how does it smell. Feeling gratitude either way. If you don't like the smell, feeling gratitude that your nose can sense it. How does it feel in your mouth? Is it hard to chew? Is it hard to swallow? Is it easy to chew? What's the texture? Really take your time with it. Put your fork down between bites, noticing any habits you might have, such as reaching for the next piece before chewing the first one. Imagine that you are an anthropologist studying how you're eating. Be curious about it. Really take these small things and turn them into a long novel. Really learn about you. Use this as an opportunity for self-mastery. What is it like to just eat rather than eating and thinking about something else? If you're walking, notice how your feet are touching the ground. Hear any sounds that are within you or around. Try to place all of your attention on the feeling of walking. Notice how your muscles and joints propel you forward. It's actually amazing how much goes into keeping you moving upright. You can try this with any activity. Just use your senses to feel what's happening as it is happening. Whatever you are doing, try to do only one thing at a time, to be present. When your mind wanders, bring your attention back to your senses in this moment. What should you do if you feel overwhelmed? Sometimes the mind wanders as a defense mechanism. There's nothing wrong with you if you feel like you can't meditate or you're losing it, or if you can't think straight. Sometimes your nervous system overreacts or gets triggered, which makes you feel overwhelmed or out of control. Whether this happens while you're meditating or throughout the day, you can use the technique of breathing to rebalance yourself, to help you feel right. Let's take a few breaths together as we conclude this meditation. You can breathe in the nose and out the mouth, or in any way that feels comfortable to you. the light in me, be the light in you. Namaste.